Hello everyone, how are you today? So today we are yet on another different setting because I'm visiting my sister in London. So we're having a little break from the van before we head south, which I'm very grateful for because it's cold. It is getting very chilly. So I thought today I would share with you some of the things that I wish I knew before going to Scotland, and my impression on Scotland and how it works while living in a van and traveling around. And some things are very obvious, but I thought I would put it out there maybe for people that are coming or that are planning to come from outside of Europe. So yeah, let's get it started. So the first thing I'm gonna cover is food, because everybody needs to eat and it's very important. And so, as you might know, the further you go up in Scotland, the less populated it is. I mean, apart from some exceptions, Scotland can be very remote. So I struggled finding, fresh food the further north I went, because there are little shops, like little village shops, but they don't usually sell a lot of fresh stuff. You can still find fruits, you can still find veggies, but they tend to be quite expensive and they don't look that appetizing. What you can find that it's fresh is like eggs, dairy, meat, that kind of stuff, because that's what they've got up there. So I would suggest, if you are planning to go up north, then stock up in before you head to the Highlands. So what I did is that I stopped in Fort William and I did a big shop there and a little, but obviously for like fresh things you do need to top it up. So yeah, be aware, if you're like me and you like to eat a lot of veggies and a lot of fruits, you might struggle a little bit. I'm sure that if you do your own research, you might find places where they grow their own veggies and stuff like that. From my experience, I didn't find that many, but that's just my experience. So the next thing I want to talk about is fuel, which is something, again, very important if you're traveling by a van. So everybody had warned me that there would be less fuel stations in Scotland. I did not realize it would be as bad. Don't get me wrong, if you're organized and you check where the fuel stations are, you're gonna be totally fine. But if you're like me and you wait to the last minute and you maybe don't have connection to check where your fuel station is, then you might be in trouble. So my suggestion is always make sure that you have at least half tank full of fuel, and if you go below that, then go and find a fuel station. What happens is that, especially not in the Highlands or in smaller villages, they might have a fuel pump, but the times that I went and it was broken or it was Sunday and so there was nobody to refill. Once I had to wait 2 days because I arrived on Saturday and the pump was closed until Monday, so I was stuck in this little place for 2 days just because I didn't have any fuel and there was no way of me to get to the next fuel station. So yeah, make sure you have always plenty of fuel before setting off. The next thing I'm going to talk about is parking. So one of the main reasons why I wanted to go to Scotland, other than the beautifulness of the place of course, is the easiness of parking, because again, there aren't that many people, it's quite remote, a lot of places are just nothing, and so as you can imagine, it is quite easy to find overnight parking, and I've never really struggled to find any parking, or it's been quite easy to find spots. But what has helped in some places, other than the app that I like to use a lot, is Park4Night. You probably already know it if you are traveling in Europe. It's just an app that shows you some of the spots around. I don't use it that much. I haven't used it in Scotland that much, but I've seen that there are a lot of spots around in places. But the app, which is not an app actually, it's a site that I really enjoyed, and I would recommend it to anybody that's planning to go van traveling in Scotland, is the site of the Forestry Commission, the Scottish Forestry Commission. Their parking is just perfect. So if you like to park in the wilderness and you're not afraid of being in the middle of nowhere and far away from people, then the Forestry Commission parkings are just perfect. So what they have is a map where they show you all the forests that they manage, and in every, not every, but many forests that they manage, they have like paths and parking at the beginning of the trails where you can park. And I've used this site so many times. Anytime that I couldn't be bothered to find a parking on my own, then I would look this up. And honestly, all of the parkings that are on the site, they're just very well managed and clean. Sometimes you even have toilets, and I never had any issue with weirdos, apart from, well, one in Inverness. It was kind of a spot for like kids to get drunk at night, but other than that, you know, I never had any issues. So if you go into Scotland, highly recommend to check the Forestry Commission park site for parking and for walks, because, you know, if you have a dog and you like to walk in the morning, then that's just the perfect parking, really. Okay, and the next thing is connection. So here I'm talking internet connection and phone connection. So I have a SIM card that's for from 3, and it was so bad. It was honestly so bad. As soon as I left Fort William, then I really struggled with the connection. I know that there are other providers that are better for the Highlands. For me, it was honestly a nightmare. I kind of liked sometimes not being connected to anything, but then again, if you're lost, or if you need to check something online, or if you want to check your email, sometimes I had to drive like, you know, a few hours just to get connection. Sometimes there would be none, and you'd have to go on a pub or like you know, and community halls to get Wi-Fi or something. So yeah, I would suggest you to check with your provider if it's covered, if they cover the Highlands or the Hebrides, whatever you're planning to go in Scotland. 3, the provider that I use, does have a map, and if you go and check, you know, the connection for the Highlands is basically all white. That means like there's no connection. So yeah, if you don't have any connections, then there's pubs everywhere. Pubs are good for Wi-Fi, and also community halls usually have Wi-Fi. And then the last thing is showers. So because it's not very highly populated, obviously you might not find as many leisure centers, swimming pools, that kind of stuff. So I personally didn't use that many public showers, just because it was summer and so I could bathe in lakes and streams and that kind of thing. But if you were traveling in winter, I think it would be quite a hassle. So what I found that sometimes have shower is the community halls of small villages. They sometimes have a service of, you know, having a shower. Harrison, what's up? There's another doggy up there. You can't see him, but he's looking outside the window. Harrison! He's obsessed with birds. So yes, community halls are very great if you want to have a shower and you can't find swimming pools or anything like that. They usually charge a few quids to get a decent shower. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is midges. If you don't know what midges are, they're basically like little mosquito, and they infest Scotland, I can't find a better word, in summer, and they go around in big swarms. There are like thousands of them, and they are so bad. They bite like mosquitoes, and then the bites itch, and they are noisy, you know, you can hear them at night going like bzz, bzz, bzz. They're just horrible. And so I really underestimated how bad they would be, and I didn't take anything with me, and I so regret it, because the first few days they were just horrible. So if you're planning to go in summer, I would highly suggest to get one of those head nets, or if you can install like a mosquito net, or you already have in the van, then those will come very useful. I don't have any, I couldn't have any. So yeah, a head net, and then some insect repellent spray that will also do wonders for you. And also people have told me that the Avon Skin So Soft moisturizer really works to, you know, not let them come close. So yeah, if you're planning to go, definitely get prepared for the midges, because they could ruin your holiday if you're not prepared. So that's it. Those are the things that you should know before van traveling in Scotland. If you have any more tips, then make sure to leave them in the comments down below, and let me know as well if it's something that would be useful to do for every country we go, like things that you should know of each country before traveling there by van. And also, did you notice the quality of this video? It's like I have a new camera, and I'm so excited, because it's like a pocket camera. It's very small, so I should be able to create better content to watch. And that's it, really. It's been a pleasure. Bye.
Bye bye bye.